Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo, and welcome to my scrapbook table. This layout has two hops it's for. One is Baby Got Scraps, where we use up scraps in January, and the other is Scraplift Crafternoon, where we choose a layout to scrap lift. And here is what we are lifting today. It's by Lauren at LEM Paper Crafting, and I liked the double page spread and the photo arrangement. So here are some scraps I have pulled out from my scrap paper drawers and my black and white bin. And then also I pulled some pink things. And I thought I was going to use these little word stickers, but I don't. And here's what I use for my title. I already have my photos double matted. And here's a look again at that layout. And she has a striped paper there, and that's where I used my florals. She used 10 photos. I used 6 or 5. Well, 1, 2. No, I used 6, but some of mine are bigger than hers. So I cut this paper into 1.5-inch strips. I inked the edges, and I debated for a long time what paper to use right here. And I liked this darker gray because it still it has a little bit of texture, but the other patterns are pretty busy, and this one is not, so that's why I chose it. This layout is titled A Day in the Life, and the journaling sort of chronicles what my typical workday was near the end of my teaching career. And next in the album, not necessarily next on my channel, but next in the album will be a day in the life at my new job. I thought I had the adhesive down there, and I did not. I'm sorry about my voice. I know I sound a little hoarse. I have been fighting a cold. I guess I'm not fighting it anymore. I've lost the battle. But I'm still trying to get some voiceovers done. And there we go. I just cut off the extras, and that'll go in the trash. I read the other day about somebody who uses up whatever scraps they can in January, and then they throw them away and start fresh. And I don't know if I can do that. It was MK Gun from Some Assemblage Required. I don't know. I kind of want to, but I'm not sure I could do it. I'll have to see. So my title is going to go on that gray strip that spans the two pages. And I have a couple pictures of my desk. I have a picture from my desk looking out at my classroom during my lunch break. And if you look carefully, you'll see that I have 3 students there. That was pretty typical during my lunch break. I made a real effort to have my classroom be a comfortable, nice place to be. And sometimes I had kids who for whatever reason didn't want to go to the cafeteria on their lunch, or they needed some help, and that was their only free time. And so about half the time I had kids in my room during lunch, and most of the time that was fine. Sometimes it bothered me, but mostly it was okay, because usually they just wanted a place to be. They didn't necessarily need to interact, and while I loved my kids, I did need a little bit of quiet time in the middle of the day in order to be at my best for them for the afternoon. And I taught high school, so they didn't need a lot of help or anything from me or supervision. They just needed a place to sit and enjoy some quiet, and I understood that. So here are some old 49 Market frames that I have in this. It's white, but it kind of has little marks on it too. I debated about putting it around the photo or here around the paper, and I opted for the paper since that's what I had already decided to do on the left, which I'm just now gluing down. But my title just says Mrs. Cuneo, A Day in the Life, and I included the Mrs. Cuneo because that's a contrast to my new job. Nobody calls me Mrs. Cuneo there. I add this sticker from my color bins. It says, "Let your dreams blossom." And that kind of has two purposes. One, that's what I wished for my students. But also, when these pictures were being taken over the course of a week or so, I was kind of letting my dreams blossom about what was going to be next for me. And so this sticker just says, "Here and Now." I toyed with putting that little banner there, but I opted not to. In the end, it does not go there. Excuse me. And so, like, you can see my laptop, you can see my calendar, and the bottom left photo, that's my drive to work. I am not a morning person, and I used to tell my students somehow in that 20 to 25 minute drive to work, I became human and able to speak, because I got ready in total silence. There's nobody home or up, one or the other, when I was getting ready to go to work. My husband leaves a lot earlier than I did, and so I didn't have to be nice to anybody. I didn't have to try to make polite chit chat. I could just get ready for work, grab my lunch, get myself in the car, and start going. And so, yeah, on that drive is when I became human and able to talk to people and be nice. You'll also see my green tea thermos there. My students knew that my second period students knew that every day during second period, Mrs. Cuneo made tea. I had a little water heater in my classroom, and I had a variety of teas, and that's what I did as they were walking into second period every day. I was making tea, and sometimes we would talk about my tea and what kind of teas I liked, and that I generally don't like coffee, etc. So it made some good conversation with my kids. Toward the end of the school year, I would put up a little sign about how many days of class were left. I usually started the sign when we were under 20. Sometimes I didn't get it made right away. And then one of my students, our school's mascot was, excuse me, I'm sorry. Our school's mascot was the Green Men, which one of my students drew on my sign there, you can see. So I added this film strip embellishment on the right. I am so glad I pulled out my color bin with black and white and came across that. It's from a swap from Ginger's Corner, and I absolutely love it. The colors work here, and I like the touch of black. I love anything like with film or Viewmaster wheels and that sort of thing anyway. So it was just right. Then I added a little piece. It's not chipboard. I'm not sure what you would call it, but it's thicker and sturdier than chipboard. It just says date, and I will add the date there. I'm adding some enamel dots. I put an arrow in the bottom right because this is leading to what will be the next layout in the album. I don't know exactly when I will do that. I do have the photos for it, but haven't decided what I'm going to use exactly to document it. It won't be this same stuff. These materials I picked up from the free table at a crop I was at a while ago, probably close to a year ago. And I just thought they worked for this. I like the gray. Gray is one of my favorite colors to scrapbook with. It's such a great neutral, and it's not as harsh as black. And I have no idea why, but I decided I would do a little bit of texture paste in the corners here. And now, in hindsight, I wish I had not, because for some reason, the texture paste dried looking off-white instead of white. And I hadn't noticed that before. It's not extremely old or anything, but yeah, I wish I hadn't done that. I can't undo it though, so that it is what it is. And I end up doing it, of course, on both sides, so I can't really cover it. If it were just one piece, I think I would have figured out a way to cover it up, but it's on both sides, and on one side there's a lot of it. So I just decided I'll live with it. And here I'm adding the date, which these were all taken in May of 2023. And then I do my journaling, and I ended up doing my journaling right on the gray and white checked paper. And I'm not going to have you watch all of that. I'm not even going to read all of that. I did a lot of journaling. I did it on both sides of the layout because I wanted to record all of that. There were some things I want to remember. So here are the still shots. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really grateful that you're here. I appreciate my subscribers and my viewers, and I hope you get to create something with your scrapbook supplies and maybe your scraps very soon. Bye-bye.